guys, it's Mike again. Sorry, it's been forever since I posted a video, but I've kind of been doing the whole school thing and haven't had too much time to do much. But as you can see, we've got a table full of rods here. I think it's time to do the annual rod and reel arsenal, so let's jump right in there. First off, we've got the ever faithful Shimano Stratic CI4 Plus. This is kind of just my drop shot reel. It's a 2500 series, which basically just means it's a mid series, and it's super light, which is a huge plus when you're using a drop shot reel all day long for most cases whenever you do have to break it out. But yeah, it's the first week of fall, so we're, first week of October, I should say. But we're getting into the fall transition here, and you want to probably start switching to more compact baits and smaller stuff, like to kind of match your forage for your bait fish. So I got the drop shot rod here. This is a Powell Max. It's a medium light extra fast, and it's just a 7 foot. What the medium light extra fast just means is it's got a good backbone through here, but once you get further up on the tip, it's a little more flimsy, so you're not just gonna pull it right out of the fish's mouth. It's just gonna kind of pull it right into their cheek, and it's gonna get a really great hook set. But overall, the CI4 Plus Stratic, it's probably my favorite spinning reel. I don't think I'll ever buy another one. But yeah, that's just my basic drop shot setup. But as you can see, we kind of got a little pattern going on here. These are all fall baits, so we'll get into those, and you might kind of pick up some tips on what to throw this fall. But as you can see, this rod is bare. I keep it that way because it's my backup rod. I throw this for my extra heavy stuff, like as far as big swim baits, your frogs, A-rigs, heavy flipping, like you're getting into the mats of your big old like 1.5 ounce tungstens. So yeah, this doesn't come out very often, but it's a huge rod. It's a 7.5 foot extra heavy, and it's a fast action. It's a Gloomis E6X jig and worm series, and it's just a beast. Enough said. That's one of the main reasons I don't pull it out of the locker too often. But we'll move on to the next one. Right here we have the older Shimano Sitica. It's a 7.2-to-1. It's kind of your median for gear ratio, and by median I mean it could be fast or slow. With the 7.2-to-1, you can speed it up and have the speed you want, but you can also slow down without having to worry about just pulling your baits too far or too fast from the fish. But as you can see, we got a good old faithful spinner bait on here, and this is pretty much what everybody thinks of when they think of fall fishing. So this is a good shad pattern. Our lakes have a lot of little shad in it, so these blades are just perfect. And the rod I'm throwing it on is a 7 foot medium heavy, and I got some braid on it. The reason I have some braid on it today is because the last time I had it out, I was cranking through some pretty thick stuff, so the braid kind of allowed me to pop it out of the weeds, so the fish kind of really hit on that initial pop that gave it that reaction bite. So that's really great. But the rod itself, it's a Cabela's Prodigy. It's just a store brand. If you want to save some money, go with a store brand. You don't have to always go with a super, super expensive rod. We'll move on. This is another rod I use for moving baits. This is my primary crankbait rod, and what I have on it right now for fall is the Strike King, I think it's a 1.5 square bill, but fall is probably, square bills are probably the second bait that comes to mind for anybody when it comes to fall. You get them into that back cover into the wood, and a bill will bounce off and you get your reaction bites. But the reel I'm throwing it on right now is my favorite reel, and it is the Corrado 200 E7. The E series is probably my favorite Corrado year ever, but it has your old VBS on it. You have your centrifugal force in your brakes. What these will do, you pop them out and they put force on the edge in here, and it'll kind of slow down your spool a little bit, so you're not getting that super big backlash. But with the Corrado, you have your big, powerful grips, an amazing drag system, and this is a 7.1-to-1. But the rod I'm throwing this on, typically I'll use this rod with deep cranks, but today, you really can't go wrong with a heavy rod for a square bill anyways, so today I have it on this guy. That allows me to just kind of tear it out of the wood and stuff. But yeah, we will move on to the next one. And the next one is pretty much a bait you want to have tied on year round. Not this bait specifically, but a flipping and pitching setup. This is a Gloomis GL2. It's a 7-1 medium heavy. It's not a super strong flipping and pitching rod, but it's just enough to get into to do your target fishing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty much the perfect thing for that, honestly. But the reel I have it paired up with is a super high speed, well, not super high speed, but it's pretty fast. It's a 7/6 It's a Shimano Chronarch CI4 Plus, and it's got a ton of great features. This is one of the first models that featured the SBS Infinity when they were kind of getting rid of the regular old VBS. And then it'll also come with your S3D spool. That's just a fancy term for it's more balanced and you're gonna get a couple extra feet out of your cast. And then you have your X-Ship, which is a dual supported pinion. Basically, that's just a reinforced pinion. It's not gonna bend out under heavy load when you're reeling in something like that. But yeah, as far as target fishing, this is a great setup. This is just a little Gambler Ugly Otter. It's a little creature bait. You really can't go wrong. And we'll move on to the next one, which is pretty much every angler's favorite. You got your good old medium heavy 7-foot, and guess what? We got a Sanco on there. This is pretty much the most iconic bait in bass fishing right now. It's so simple to use. You just throw it out. It's kind of a fire and forget kind of bait. You throw it out, it'll shimmy to the bottom, and a bass just comes scoops it up. For the setup, you typically want to throw just anywhere from a 6/8 to a 7-foot medium heavy rod. And today we have it on a Gloomis IMX and paired up also with a 200 HG Corrado. And this is also another one of those rods that are reels that have the newer SBS Infinity, the S3D spool, and your X-Ship. And this is just your median gear ratio as well. It's just a 7:1. And looky here, we got another one. This is the newer Gloomis IMX, and I have it paired up with a black and blue chatterbait. Whenever you have a black and blue chatterbait, that usually means dirty water, so you got it. That's what Nebraska's got right now. But this is just a 7-1 medium heavy, extra fast, and basically that's just for your stronger hook sets on jigs and chatterbaits and whatnot. And honestly, I haven't had any issues with this on a chatterbait yet, so if you're looking for a great spinnerbait, chatterbait, or jig rod, the new IMXs are really great. But as you saw, I had the older Sitka. This is the new guy, new guy on the scene here. This is a 7:2 gear ratio. It's just barely quicker than the old standard Corrado, and it has all the same features. It's pretty much its little brother. As you can see, they're almost identical here. You have your SBS Infinity, S3 spool, the X-Ship. The only difference between the two is maybe a little bit of cosmetic, and the Sitka here just doesn't have quite the same rust protection that the Corrado does. And then we'll move on to our last guy here, which is slowly becoming one of my new favorite rods here. The reel, not so much. The reel, it's an old Quantum Smoke. It's a 6:3-1. The bearings went out on it right away. This is why I'm a Shimano guy. No offense, Quantum. But as you can see, we've got a good old popper on here. This rod initially was designed for your super, super tiny little plugs or your little crankbaits. As you can see, it's just, the whole rod is tip. Backbone goes to about here, and the rest of it is just loading power for those treble hooks. And as you can see, got our little popper on there. So when that bass sucks this topwater popper underneath, this rod's gonna give you a lot of extra time to just kind of load up on it and get your hook set. That being said, I have never missed a fish on a popper with this rod as long as you got a good hold on it. I mean, sure, they'll kind of swing and miss at it sometimes, but that's more the fish's fault than the angler's error. But the rod itself is a Gloomis E6X. It's just a medium action, and it's just moderate. As you can see, it's just kind of a little fairy wand. And then back to the reel. Another reason I'm not a huge fan of the Quantum is it's just got your old, simple ACS. It doesn't give you a whole lot of options to kind of tweak your little bitty itty bitty baits to cast further. And then that just sounds terrible. But yeah, you guys, like I said, I am sorry that we haven't had a video out forever. So this is just kind of my way of getting a video out. As you can see, we are not in the basement anymore. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Please leave the video a like, be sure to subscribe, and I will catch you next time.